Yamunatira Vanacha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradha Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Mangamlam Khayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinadarinam Brahmanatam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Pudale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharane Visheshwanyavadi Bhashyadhistarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmani Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurvakturinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome everyone to this session of the Srimad Bhagavatam chapter wise. And today we are looking at the 20th chapter of the 4th canto. This is the history of Prithu Maharaj, and in the 19th chapter we saw how Indra disrupted the 100 horse sacrifices that was being conducted by King Prithu, and the 100th horse sacrifice was disturbed by Indra, and eventually Lord Brahma told Prithu Maharaj to stop the sacrifice because the result that a sacrifice is supposed to produce was not happening. Rather, everybody was getting disturbed. So he said, let us stop it, and you shall have all the good fortune of having conducted 100 sacrifices. So, like that, a benediction given by Brahma, and Prithu becomes very happy. And in this chapter, it explains, Maitreya Muni is explaining to Vidura how the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, appeared at the sacrificial arena of King Prithu to give him special blessings. There are a total of 38 shlokas in this chapter, also contains some beautiful verses of glorification, stuti by King Prithu to the Supreme Lord. Being satisfied with Prithu Maharaj, Lord Vishnu, the master of sacrifice, Yajnapati, and the enjoyer of sacrifice, Yajnabhuk, appeared along with Indra. So, Lord Vishnu comes along with Indra. There is a very nice purpose for coming along with Indra. So, Lord Vishnu is telling King Prithu, Indra, who has disturbed your 100 sacrifice, is here seeking forgiveness from you. Therefore, excuse him. Therefore, excuse him. So, the idea is that forgiveness is something that can be possible only for a person who has got some spiritual advancement. As one becomes more advanced in spiritual knowledge, he understands the difference between the body and the soul, and therefore any insult addressed to the body, the advanced person will be able to identify it as separate from himself. And therefore, with that understanding, it becomes forgiveness becomes very easy as we get more and more advanced in spiritual knowledge. Basically, spiritual knowledge means I am not this body understanding. So that is something very important. And therefore, here, Lord Vishnu himself is telling Prithu Maharaj, you please forgive him. So here also there is the understanding we take is that Lord Vishnu is indicating to everyone that Prithu is very advanced, even more advanced than Indra. That is why Indra is in a position of where he has to beg forgiveness from King. And so he says, Sudhiya sadhavo loke naradeva narottama nabhir druhyanti bhutebhyo yarhinatma kalevaram. So he says, Sudhiyaha. Dhiya means buddhi or intelligence. Sudhiyaha means one who is well intelligent. They are inclined to welfare activities. Sadhavaha. Sudhiya sadhavo loke. Naradeva narottama. They are Nara Uttama. They are considered to be the best of human beings. And they don't have any malice to anybody. Na abhidruhyanti bhutebhyaha. To all the living entities, they have no malice. Why? Yati na atma kalevaram. Yarhi na atma kalevaram. That means they realize that atma and kalevaram are different. Kalevaram means body. So those people who have advanced intelligence, sudhiyaha, they are automatically sadhava. Means those people who look for or they are eager for the welfare of all the living entities. They have no malice towards other living entities. And also they are the best among the human beings. And they hold no malice because they identify themselves as being different from the body. So it's just one sloka. So much of important points because the shloka is spoken by none other than the Supreme Lord himself. If a personality like you who is so advanced because of Vriddha Seva is carried away by Maya, then all your advancement is a waste of time. Vriddha Seva means serving seniors. That is the meaning taken here. That means if you have served those people who are more advanced than you spiritually, then that means you will also have spiritual advancement. And Lord is saying, in spite of that advancement, if you are not able to forgive this Indra, who is a Sakama, then what is the big point? Your entire so-called advancement becomes a waste, naturally. Those who are in full knowledge that this body arises from actions due to desires arising from ignorance, avidya, kama, karma, bihi, do not become attached to the body. So, while I realize that I am not this body, I should also realize that I have got this body because of avidya, kama, karma, bihi. From avidya. From avidya comes kama. From kama comes this kamya karma. So avidya, kama and karma are very closely connected. And situated in intelligence means I understand that I have got this body because of these reasons. Very important. That way, one can become detached from the body. Why? Because I understand that because of all these things, I have got this. If I don't become detached, again, I'll get this. Very simple. How can a learned person who has no attachment to his body be attached to bodily productions like house, children, and wealth? So, Lord Vishnu is reminding, as if he is reminding Prithu, he is reminding everybody that a learned person will not have unwanted attachment towards everything that is connected to the medium of his body. And then he says about the Paramatma and the Jiva. He is explaining the differences. The individual soul is one, pure, non-material and self-effulgent. He is the reservoir of all good qualities and he is all-pervading. He is without material covering. He is the witness of all activity. He is completely distinguished from other living entities and he is transcendental to all embodied souls. Here, this verse actually indicates the Paramatma, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, although he speaks as soul, but it is mentioning the super soul. Ekaha, Shuddhaha, Swayam Jyotihi, Nirgunaha, Gunascharayaha, Sarvaga. So these are all qualities of the super soul. He is one, he is pure, self-effulgent, without material qualities, reservoir of good qualities, and able to move everywhere. Whereas the conditioned soul will be Anekaha, Ashuddhaha, and he has no Swayam Jyoti. He'll be Saguna, then he'll be Gunashrita. He's not Gunashraya, he'll be Gunashrita. And so therefore, the Supreme Soul or the Super Soul is completely transcendental to everything. And although the Jiva Soul is also transcendental, in his conditioned state, he appears to be not transcendental. At the same time, the soul or the individual soul is always dependent on the super soul, whereas the super soul is always completely independent. And what is the result of the knowledge of Paramatma and Atma? One is unaffected by material modes, although he is situated in the body. So, knowledge has this result or this effect. You become non-reactive. You become non-reactive. That is a very important aspect of spiritual knowledge. So when somebody is saying, why are you sitting like a dumb idiot or something like that, that is exactly what they asked Jadabharata also, because he was acting like a dumb idiot. Why? Because he was completely situated in knowledge. So knowledge means you become non-reactive. Non-reactive means what? You are not affected by what is happening as a result of the mixture of the three modes of material nature. Although you are situated in the body. So this is a sign of knowledge when we realize or when we understand about Jivatma and Paramatma, automatically we become undisturbed. And he faithfully serves me through his occupational duties without material desires. Thus, he gradually becomes satisfied with him. So Lord Vishnu is telling Prithu that one who is understanding the difference between himself and the Paramatma and understands who is he and who is Paramatma, he faithfully serves the Lord Bhajate, how Swadharmena, how Nirasihi, without material desires. Thus, he gradually becomes satisfied within. One thus disassociated from the modes and endowed with the perfect vision and pure mind finally attains peace and is situated equally with me. So in the 10th shloka of this chapter, there is this mention of Kaivalya. There is mention of Kaivalya. Parityakta gunasamyak darshano vishadashayaha shantim me samaswastanam brahma kaivalyam ashnute. When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace and one is situated equally with me as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Prabhupada translates it like that. And in the word meaning, Prabhupada also translates Kaivalyam as freedom from material contamination. Samavat Sthanam means equal situation on the Brahman level. Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnuti. So, on the level of Brahman, you get Kaivalyam, that means freedom from material contamination. And Prabhupada in that purport also makes it very clear the understanding of Kaivalyam in the Vaishnava way and the understanding of Kaivalyam in the Mayavada way, which we already know quite well, but how we should read the 10th sloka of this chapter where Kaivalyam is mentioned is very expertly explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. That Mayavadi thinks that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged in the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava conception is that he understands his position and position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and living entity understands that he is eternal surveyor, which is Brahman realization. And after that, the soul understanding his position becomes or serves the Lord with full sarva bhavena, with everything that he is God. One who understands that the indifferent and fixed soul to be the superintendent of the body, senses, etc., is eligible for liberation from samsara. So, understanding that I am different from the body, that itself is first qualification for moksha. The material world operates due to the interaction of the modes. Knowing the soul to be different from its gross and subtle bodies and being connected with me in intense friendship, my devotees are never agitated by happiness and distress. Now, he also speaks about how the devotee understands. How the devotee understands the difference between body and the soul, and based on that, how he is able to connect with the Supreme Lord. The whole idea, see, that is another thing. When we talk about jnana, knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and developing that understanding that I am not this body, I am the soul. The next step is how the soul connects himself to Bhagavan. And that is the most important part also. So from this, it should go to that. So Lord Vishnu is indicating that situation of the soul who understands as well. And then Prithu gets direct instructions from the Supreme Lord. In Shloka 13, 14, 15, and 16, it is the Supreme Lord Vishnu instructing Prithu. He says that treat higher, intermediate, and lower entities with equality, be equipoised in happiness and distress, control your mind and senses, and protect your citizens. He gives these instructions because Prithu is a king. And why should a king protect his citizens? If a king protects his citizens, he will get 1/6 of their piety. If he doesn't, the citizens will take his piety and he will suffer their sins. So, for a king, he will get 1/6 of all the pious results of his citizens. And if he protects his citizens, and if he doesn't protect, they will take his pious results and he will take their sins. By protecting the citizens and the earth according to the principles approved and received from the great Brahmanas, without attachment to your position, the citizens will love you and you will soon see the great saints, the Kumaras. I am captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. One cannot achieve my favor simply by sacrifice, austerities, or yoga. I am situated neutrally in the heart of those who are equipoised. So, the Lord is saying you protect your citizens, and by doing your duty perfectly, Prithu, Lord is predicting that you will eventually get darshan of the Chatushanas, the 4 Kumaras, because that is from whom Prithu will also receive all the intricacies of the transcendental knowledge related to the Supreme Person. And then he says, you can ask any benediction that you want. And he says, simply by doing sacrifice, austerity, or yoga, you will not satisfy or you will not achieve me. I am situated neutrally in the heart of those who are equipoised. So, in an equipoised person's heart, he can actually feel the presence of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is situated in everybody's heart. Okay? But who feels the presence of the Lord? One who is equipoised. Why the other person is not able to feel the presence of the Lord? because he is already agitated by so many things. Where is the, there is no space, there is no gap for him to actually feel the presence of the Lord within the heart. That is as simple as that. Prithu accepted the instructions of the Lord on his head. Indra was ashamed of his own activities and touched Prithu's feet. Prithu gave up all hatred and embraced Indra. This shows how advanced Prithu is, vis-a-vis Indra. Prithu then worshipped the lotus feet of the Lord with increasing ecstasy. The Lord was just about to leave, but being the well-wisher of the devotees and greatly inclined towards Prithu, he did not depart. Prithu, with his eyes full of tears and voice choked up, he could neither see nor address the Lord. Embracing him in his heart, he stood with folded hands. And Sloka 22 speaks, Maitreya is speaking about the Lord. Athavam drishyashru kalavilokayan atripta driggocharamah purusham padas prashantam kshitim amsha unnate vinyasthastagram uranga vidvishaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaja Prithu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus, the king offered the following prayers. Prabhupada says that all the great personalities from the higher planetary systems, when they come to the earth planet, they don't touch, their feet don't touch the earth planet because of their yogic power. They are able to maintain weightlessness when they are in this planet, and therefore they just come and they'll stay above the ground. And that is why that is indicated here by saying that the Supreme Lord's feet almost touching the ground, and then Prithu is looking at the Lord and is about to receive the prayers spoken by Prithu. In the shlokas 23 to 31, it is Prithu's wonderful prayers. Vara anvipho tvad varadeshwaradbudha katham brinite guna vikriyatmanam yena rakhanam api santi dehinam tannisha kaivalyapate vrinena cha. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. Why therefore should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically, even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. Prabhupada quotes Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad in the purport saying this Kaivalyam Narakayate. Prithu continues his prayers. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. It's a very, very important prayer by King Prithu, where he is asking. Nagameye natha tadepyaham kvachin na yatra yushmat charanambuja swasa ashwaha mahattamantar hridayan muktachyuto vititsva karnayutam eshame varaha. Karnayutam. So he's asking karna. He's asking thousands of years. Why? So that he can hear the glories of the Lord. So what a wonderful, wonderful prayer by King Prithu, that I want millions of years so that I can hear the unlimited glories of the Supreme Personality of God. What a wonderful prayer, because it shows on one hand the eagerness of Prithu as a devotee of the Lord, the eagerness to hear Hari Katha. The eagerness to hear Harikatha is a very, very wonderful exhibition of the devotional quality of a great personality. The more one is inclined to hear Harikatha, we can understand that his devotion is progressed to that extent. And Prithu, by asking for millions of Arna in order to hear about the glories of the Lord, just shows what an advanced personality King Prithu actually is. Ya uttama shloka mahan mukhachyuto bhavat padamboja sutha kananilaha smritim punarvis vismrita tattva vartmanam kuyoginam no vitaratyalam varaihi. My dear Lord, you are glorified by selected verses uttered by great personality. Uttama shloka. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carry the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers its eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Two very, very important things that is mentioned by King Prithu here is that it is through that hearing process that the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord is coming to us. Through the hearing process. That aroma is entering our heart actually. Because this aroma is transcendental. With this nose we cannot. So through the process of hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord, it actually carries the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord into our hearts through the process of hearing. And the other important part is through the process of hearing from the pure devotee. Unless we hear it from the pure devotee of the Lord, the aroma will not come. So Prithu simply says, the benediction that I want most is to hear. I do not require any other. I do not require any other benediction except the hearing. And he says, I don't want to be like that kuyogi. Prabhupada says, every one of us is kuyogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world. So, kuyogi means one who is interested in material activities. Yes, Shivam Susrava Arya Sangame Yadrichaya Topasrinoti Te Sakriti Katham Gunajno Virame Vinapasum Shrir Yat Pravarve Guna Sangrahechaya. My dear highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be so careless to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desires to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. Arya Sangama. Arya Sangama means association of devotees. Hearing about the glories of the Lord in the association of the devotees is the most important thing. And he says that unless you are an animal, you cannot give up the association of Arya Sangha. You cannot give up unless you are an animal. It also means something, one very strong indication given here by Prithu, that once you have Arya Sangha, if you give it up, that means you are an animal. That is, once having received the benediction of association of devotees, if one is giving up, one is as good as an animal. Because unless one is an animal, you cannot give up that Arya Sangha, the association of devotees. Why? Because in the association of devotees, you are hearing about the glories of God. Giving up association means giving up hearing. That also we must understand. O Supreme Person, reservoir of all transcendental qualities, I desire to serve your lotus feet just like Lakshmi, but I'm afraid we would compete and quarrel over the service to a single master. So he's saying, actually, I want to compete with Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi, the mother of the universe, may be angry with me for desiring her service, yet I am hopeful that you will take my part, for you are affectionate to the poor, Dinavatsala, and magnify even insignificant service to you. You can do without her as you are self-sufficient. So King Prithvi is giving a wonderful prayer, saying that, you can actually do away with Lakshmi Devi because you are self-sufficient. And please give me the chance to do service to your lotus feet. Great devotees render service, devotional service unto you who destroy the illusions of the material existence. You have no reason to take, they have no reason to take your shelter except to constantly remember your lotus. Taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means always remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. Always, simply by doing lip service, I am taking service, I'm taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, is of no use whatsoever. Must actually be engaged in that smaranam, the remembrance process of remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. And so Prithu says, it's actually very bewildering that you are telling me to ask for benediction. You are asking me that if I want benediction, that is very, very bewildering, because even in the Vedic literature, so many bewildering things are given. No? That is what Prithu is indicating here. Maya jana isha khandito yadanyad ashasta ritatmano buddha yatha charet balahitam pita swayam tatha tvamevarhasi na samihitum. My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position, and out of ignorance, there are always desires of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you. But as a father, not wanting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son, please bestow upon me, whatever you think best for me. So this is another very, very important thing when we pray to the Supreme Lord, that just like Arjuna said, what did Arjuna say? Arjuna said, I am confused as to what I should do, what I should not do. What is good for me, what is not good for me, I do not know. Like that, King Prithu is saying, don't offer me or don't promise some benediction which will actually, I may ask out of my ignorance some benediction, and that benediction will eventually tie me up to this material world, because your Maya is very, very strong. Very intelligent devotee Prithu is. So Prithu says, just as a father, without the son asking, father knows what is meant for the benefit of the son. Similarly, the Supreme Lord knows what is most beneficial to his devotee. So Prithu is appealing to the Lord. So as a very benevolent father, you choose and give me what you choose and give what benediction is best for me. So I don't want benediction. But one benediction he already asked. What is that? Millions of years. Karnayutam, he already asked. And that is like the greatest benediction that one can have. Ears to hear the glories of the Lord. And a desire to hear. Why is he asking for the benediction of millions of years? Because he has the desire to hear. He has the desire to hear. So we can follow in the path of King Prithu and always pray to the Lord that please always let me be able to hear your glories. Let me be able to hear your glories. Why? Simply by hearing about the glories of the Lord, the remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord will come in our hearts. It will come in our hearts. And once that smaranam of the Lord is in the heart, then we are very safe. So for that, this Shravanam is required, desire to Shravanam is required, and ability to do the Shravanam is required, and also the chance, Arya Sangha is required. The association of fearless devotees who have taken Abhaya at the lotus feet of the Lord and have become Nirbhaya, and they are called Arya. Why? Because they don't lament for anything that is there in this material world. They won't lament for the apparent losses in this material world. And hearing from them the glories of the Supreme Lord is actually the most beneficial for the living. So Prithu understands that. So he has very smartly asked for that benediction, and now he says, anything else if you want to give, you give me. In such a way that what? It is beneficial to me. What is my benefit you? So, Ityadi Rajena Nutaswa Vishwadrik Tamaharajan Mai Bhaktirastute Dishte Drishidhir Maite Kritayaya Mayam Madiyam Taratisma Dustyajam. So Maitreya says, the Lord, the seer of the universe, after hearing Prithu Maharaj's prayer, addressed the king, my dear king, may you always be blessed by him. Tamaha Rajan Mai Bhaktir Astute, Mai Bhaktir Astu. May you be situated in my bhakti. And your dhi, your intelligence, because you have already done this yajna, you will not be affected by my maya, which is very difficult to give up. Dustyajam, very difficult to give up. But you will be mayam madiyam tarati. Sma, definitely you will cross over this maya. Why? Because you are situated in my devotional service. Very simple. And that, Maitreya Muni says, that is the benediction the Lord gave Prithu, that you be situated in my devotional service, my bhakti. Execute my orders carefully and don't be misled by anything. Anyone who carries out my orders faithfully will always find good fortune. The Lord appreciated the meaningful prayers of Prithu, and after being properly worshipped, blessed him and decided to leave. Then Prithu worshipped the demigods, sages, Pitrus, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charnas, and others, and with his sweet words and wealth, thinking of them as representatives of the Lord. Then all of them returned to their abodes. The Lord, who captivated the minds of the king and priests, also returned. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to Prithu. Prithu offered obeisances to the Lord and returned to his home. So thus the chapter gets concluded, the 20th chapter of the 4th canto, entitled Lord Vishnu visits the sacrificial arena of Prithu, where because of the greatness of Prithu, the Lord gave him direct darshan, offered him benedictions, accepted prayers from Prithu, and then gave him benediction, the most important benediction, that may you be situated in my bhakti and cross over maya. And the benediction requested by Prithu was what? Give me karnayutam, give me millions of years so that I can hear your glories sung by the pure devotees of the Lord. So this is the sum and substance of devotional service in this conversation between Vidura and Maitreya, where Maitreya is explaining how Lord Vishnu came and blessed Prithu, and how King Prithu prayed, and the greatness of Prithu was brought forth by the Supreme Lord himself by appearing in front of Prithu and showing the whole world what a great personality Prithu is. That is what the greatness of the Lord, that he always wants to glorify the greatness of his devotee by making him speak. So that is also another thing that we see in this chapter. So Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam Granth Raj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.